The film opens with a depiction of a city overtaken by criminal gangs, filled with chaos and an alarmingly high crime rate. Strangely, the police appear to have done little to address the situation.
Violent crime has increased 18%.
Told me that this horrific
A governor named John then gives a speech to the public, urging for an immediate end to the disorder. Thanks to the efforts of the governor and his team, the city's crime rate is eventually reduced by nearly half.
Drugs and gangs out of our neighborhoods. We've called out the corrupt.
Elsewhere, a man named Stanley Hill arrives at the airport and is warmly welcomed by his wife. The couple shares a heartfelt reunion, clearly overjoyed to be together again. However, their happiness is short-lived. While in the parking area, they discover that their car's tire has been slashed. As Stanley begins changing the tire, a group of men approaches led by someone with a mosquito tattoo on his face. They attempt to extort money.
Come on, man. She's about to give it to me. Just need $3 more for my ticket.
Not today.
But Stanley ignores their demands, leading to a violent confrontation that tragically results in his wife's death.
Get in the car. Not today.
Stanley immediately reports the incident to the police. The case is assigned to Detective Gibson and his partner, Detective Walters.
Sorry. Mr. Hill, what was the state of your marriage? I'll get him.
The next day, Stanley, accompanied by his only daughter, Abby, attends his wife's funeral. Governor John is also present, expressing his condolences, as Stanley's wife had been part of the government and one of his team members.
Our thoughts and prayers go out to the Hill family, and we promise swift justice for Vivian Hill and for her family.
Not long after, the police arrest several individuals matching Stanley's description of the perpetrators. Among them is the man with the mosquito tattoo, named Charlie. However, things take a strange turn. Despite Stanley's clear identification of Charlie as the assailant, the police release him without charge, treating him as if he had done nothing wrong.
That's him.
This is a homicide case we can't go on against.
Detective Gilmore explains that Stanley's testimony was deemed insufficient to hold Charlie in custody.
What happened? Why did you let him go?
Then if we bring him back, it's not going to help your case.
Neither can you.
It's okay.
4. That night, still overcome with grief and rage, Stanley goes out for a walk to clear his mind. As he walks, he unexpectedly sees Charlie freely roaming the streets, which reignites his fury. Stanley immediately turns back and rushes home. Once there, overwhelmed with emotion, he breaks through the wall of his closet and retrieves a box. Inside is a collection of gear from his past, evidence of his former life as a feared member of an elite special forces unit. One morning, realizing how dangerous his mission is, Stanley decides to ask for help from his old comrade Dennis, a fellow former special forces soldier. Dennis willingly agrees to assist and hands Stanley a list of targets, individuals who are known criminals but have been shielded from the law in the city. Dennis had secretly been investigating them. Armed with this valuable information, Stanley heads straight to a bar where one of Charlie's gang members, involved in his wife's death, is known to hang out.
I'm doing this. I have to.
Low-level dealers. Cops follow me 10 times a year. Nothing ever happens.
What about this guy?
I'm still working on him. Look,
At the bar, Stanley encounters a man named Nathan. He sits down and quietly orders a drink, keeping a close eye on his surroundings. Suddenly, Nathan deliberately smashes Stanley's glass with a pool cue. Stanley chases Nathan to the back of the bar, but is caught off guard when Nathan turns the tables and points a gun at him. Stanley demands to know Charlie's whereabouts, but when Nathan refuses to talk, Stanley kills him with the help of Dennis, who arrives just in time.
Where's Charlie Laws?
Up your ass.
The next day, Stanley is seen at Dennis's barbershop. But it turns out this place is more than just a barber's. Dennis has hidden his old weapons there, and even maintains a shooting range to keep their combat skills sharp.
Get up close and personal with you. Voila. It's gonna take a little bit of time. I got it. Rest of the night.
At the same time, Gilmore and Walters are summoned by Lemmy, the most feared gang leader in the city. Lemmy is furious over the death of one of his men, accusing Gilmore and Walters of failing in their duty to protect his crew.
The problem is I got guys clocking my operation.
Capped! That's not our business.
It turns out that both detectives are part of Lemmy's corruption network, tasked with covering up his illegal operations. This is the real reason Charlie was released without charges after being arrested. Lemmy even threatens to leak a video of the governor's son harassing Lemmy's girlfriend if things spiral out of control. He orders Gilmore and Walters to find out who is responsible for attacking his gang member. Gilmore then informs Governor John about the situation, prompting an angry reaction from the governor.
He works for Lemmy K's organization.
Contain this situation, detective.
There may be civilians involved.
Meanwhile, Dennis is shocked when he enters his barbershop to find it in shambles. Charlie and his henchmen are waiting for him, guns drawn. They don't realize Dennis is a former Special Forces soldier. He quickly turns the tables, fighting back with his combat skills.
I need your name.
The next day, while Abby and her husband are at Stanley's house, Abby notices a gun lying on the table. She begins to suspect her father is seeking revenge. Just as they're about to leave, Charlie and his men launch an attack. Abby's husband is shot during the ambush. Moments later, Stanley arrives and saves them.
Where did you get hit? Shoulder.
Abby pleads with her father to stop, warning him that his revenge is endangering too many lives.
It's all right.
It just did.
That night, Stanley uses Lars' phone to contact Charlie and sets up a meeting at a bar in 20 minutes. He pretends to offer a return of confiscated drug materials in exchange for peace. Charlie shows up and is escorted into the VIP room, while Dennis waits outside.
Come in here.
If I tell you I'm dead, I'm not fucking stupid. Come on, man.
Later, Stanley returns home and begins reviewing his late wife's belongings. He discovers her phone and plays a previously unheard voice message. Upon listening to it, Stanley realizes that Governor John is the mastermind behind everything. His wife had discovered the governor's embezzlement of state funds, and Lemmy, under the governor's orders, had sent Charlie to silence her permanently. Elsewhere, Abby is suddenly attacked at home by Lemmy, who demands that she call her father and make him come to the house. Abby pretends that her phone is in the kitchen, and Lemmy allows her to get it. While in the kitchen, Abby sees a knife and uses it to stab one of Lemmy's men, injuring him. Despite this, Lemmy forces her to text Stanley. She sends a message pretending that Joey, her second child, is sick. Stanley, who receives the message, immediately grows suspicious. Abby never texts, she always calls. Realizing she might be in danger, Stanley gears up and contacts Dennis, who rushes to Abby's house. As Stanley initiates the rescue, His assault is halted when he sees Lemmy holding Abby hostage. Lemmy demands Stanley drop his weapon. From a distance, however, Dennis, equipped with a sniper rifle, shoots Lemmy, giving Stanley a chance to fight back.
Region on Earth.
Just as Stanley interrogates Lemmy to find out who's truly behind everything, Lemmy is shot by someone else. It turns out Gilmore and Walters have just arrived. 11. After the fight, Gilmore now handcuffed his force to drive them to Governor John's residence. Walters is hidden in the trunk. Upon arrival, Stanley knocks Gilmore unconscious. When he wakes up, Gilmore finds all of the governor's guards have been taken down.
Hey, let me out of here!
Stanley proceeds into the mansion, just as Governor John is anxiously asking who else knows about the incriminating report. Without much resistance, Stanley manages to eliminate Governor John. However, not long after, Stanley is surrounded by police. They aim their weapons at him and open fire, brutally shooting him before rushing him to the hospital. At the hospital, Stanley's family is denied access to see him, but Abby, desperate to see her father, sneaks into his room and hugs him, despite police warnings. Unbeknownst to them, Walters is still alive and disguised as a police officer. He sneaks into Stanley's room to finish the job.
To escape? I'll be here.
Dennis, disguised as a doctor, notices something suspicious about Walters and is surprised to see Stanley already armed. It turns out that Abby had secretly handed Stanley the weapon during her embrace. Working quickly, Dennis helps Stanley escape by wheeling him out of the hospital in a wheelchair.